There's a place down the street where good friends meet. Why don't you come along? See a face that's new, share a point of view, or maybe sing a song. Life has many stories that you hear all the time. Two of them you'll hear today, that's yours and that's mine. But there's a third story that'll always be there. Just climb to the top of the stair. Life has many stories that you hear all the time. Two of them you'll hear today, that's yours and that's mine. But there's a third story that'll always be there. Just climb to the top of the stair. Climb to the top of the stair.
Go, Byron, it's your turn.
Shh, I'm thinking.
Who's winning?
I am, that's why he's stalling.
I am not.
Hi, Don. Hi, Don.
Hi, guess what happened? Did you find out yet? Tell us.
Find out about what?
You know that quiz program our school entered and held auditions for contestants?
Yeah, I entered and I got so nervous I couldn't remember the names of Columbus's 3 ships.
Well, guess who wasn't nervous?
You, Don.
Yup, and Kelly.
Terrific!
Fellow scholar. That's me.
The wood duck is a brilliantly colored waterfowl creature found in North America. The parent ducks go to a lot of trouble and precaution to look after their little ducklings. Their task begins when they look for a place to build a nest. It is usually made in the hole of a tree left vacant by woodpeckers or squirrels. Because little ducklings are easy prey for other animals, the nest must not be too close to the ground, as raccoons or weasels could easily climb up to the eggs. Inside, the floor of the hollow must be the right distance from the door above. The mother duck is very particular about making her choice. She checks tree after tree while the father duck remains on watch outside. The hollow cannot be too shallow that the eggs are exposed to danger, and yet not so deep that after the ducklings have hatched, they cannot reach the doorway to climb out. After much searching, the ducks settle on a home, and the eggs are laid. When the eggs hatch, the young ducklings usually leave the nest within 24 hours. The mother duck will not take them to the pond she has chosen until she is sure it is safe. She studies the grass for movements of animals, she listens to the water for the splash of a frog or turtle, and she searches the sky for hawks and owls. When she is sure that her ducklings will be safe, she stands at the bottom of the tree and gives them the signal to jump down. Each duckling takes its turn struggling to get up to the opening, using its claws and the hooks at the end of its beak to get a hold. Once standing in the doorway, the duckling sees the outside world for the first time. It will be a huge leap of maybe 20 feet to its mother below. But it must be made, even though the little bird still can't fly. One after the other, the ducklings jump out. The mother increases the tempo of its call as each one succeeds. If one duckling ignores the call of the mother and refuses to jump, it will endanger the rest of the family. Eventually, the mother will feel that waiting is too risky and will take the other ducklings away to the pond and look after them there in their new environment. Since so many dangers threaten the wood duck, every precaution possible is taken to preserve life.
I don't know what you're talking about. What quiz program?
Oh, it's something that our school got into. All the schools in the province can compete and see who's got all the brains.
I guess your other 2 partners have all the brains then.
Ha ha, Byron. Actually, we're going to need a lot of practice. So why don't you and Moni help us with some sample questions?
Sure.
Can I help too?
That'd be great, Connie, but you're not into this stuff yet.
They'll probably ask you stuff like, what is history?
Then you can say it's one thing after another.
Or maybe, what is science?
I wonder if they'll ask anything on Einstein. That's my strong subject, so they probably won't.
Boy, I always get the rotten end of things. They plan stuff around me, and then when I mention it, they all feel sorry for me. Big deal.
Wheels. All kinds of wheels. What would we ever do without wheels? It takes all kinds of wheels to keep the world turning. Wheels with work to do. Wheels having fun. Wheels with nothing to do. Wheels with not a care in the world. Wheels fooling around. You can't turn anywhere without finding wheels. Wheels that work together. Wheels that work alone. Wheels that never stop. Some like to stay on one track. Others like to wander off the beaten path. Wheels are sort of like people. Loud. Proud. Nervous. Like to gossip. Tired wheels. Wheels that we hardly ever notice. Now look at those big brutes. They were pretty proud of themselves until something happened that brought them to a stop. Something way inside. This is an alternator wheel. A little wheel like this one breaks, and the big ones have to stand still. Wheels. They're like people, all right. You can't judge them by size alone. No wheel is too small. All it really needs is a place to fit in. That road can get pretty long and dusty when you're all alone.
They'll probably ask you questions about literature and famous writers and stuff like that.
If they're so famous, why don't I know of any of them?
Well, there is this one English guy. Bill Shakespeare, I think he's called.
Some friends they are. They think more of themselves than they do about me. I'll bet if I looked like one of these movie stars over here, those fellows would pay attention. And maybe even Moni and Kelly would be jealous. Or if I could play a decent game of tennis, they'd want me around then. But I'm nothing too special, except being younger than these guys.
Hi, my name is Daryl Thiessen and I live in Lethbridge, Alberta. My dad owns a feedlot in Coaldale and he lives here in Lethbridge and he has a man that runs a feedlot in there in Coaldale. We have about 6,000 to 7,000 animals in the feedlot at heavy times. When the cattle first arrive and after they've been branded, they get put into the starter pens where they're fed hay until they reach a certain weight. After that, they're put into the normal pens and they're fed the normal feed that's given to all the steers. It takes a lot of care to take care of the animals. It's not just feeding them. You have to feed them at certain times a day and not give them too much so they don't get bloated, or they might get sick, or they might get too fat. So you have to feed them at certain times a day. We usually feed them in the mornings, every day a week, 7 days a week. And there are certain nutrients added in that so that it will help the steers to get fat. Okay, then we have our elevator where we store our grain, and we have a feed truck driver. He drives from Lethbridge to Coaldale, getting feed from Lethbridge Mill and bringing it to our feed mill so that we will have a plenty supply of grain so that we won't run out. Okay, then we have the silage pile beside that. The silage is corn silage, and every year we have a crop which we cut and we make into silage, and we stack it and pack it so that it will last for about a year round till the next harvest. Okay, the feeding procedure is the feed truck drives under and loads up from the elevator about a certain percentage of grain. Then it drives over to the silage pile and puts in a certain percentage of that so it has a mixture of nutrients for the cattle to eat. Every morning the men, they go out and check the cattle on horse to see which the sick ones are, and if there are sick ones, then they treat them with certain kinds of medicine, with penicillin, and there's a sick pen in the feedlot which takes care of the sick animals, and every day we go and we give them extra shots in that certain pen so that we know where they are, so we don't have to go through all the pens again. Every spring usually we fill up our main reservoir with fresh water. We usually try and keep it as full as possible. Our water supply depends on how much water comes from the mountains. If there isn't very much water coming from the mountains, then that means that we'll have a low supply during the year. So we run all our water out of the canals and ditches that come straight from the mountains. It's important that all the animals get enough water, because otherwise it would be quite critical and most of the animals would get sick or die. When the cattle are fat enough to be hauled away to the packing plants, big cattle liners come to load them on their trucks. They can usually hold about 60 or 80 at the most steers at one time, depending on how big the truck is. Taking care of cattle isn't just a temporary job. You have to stick with it throughout the entire year. You can't just go take a holiday because the cattle might get out of hand, they might get sick. You really have to give the cattle constant care.
I bet some people's pets get more attention than I do. Maybe I shouldn't depend on them so much. Then it wouldn't matter if I didn't see them. Maybe I should only depend on me. I'd miss you guys, though.
What are you talking about?
Nothing. I don't even have any friends to talk to. They don't listen. So here I am talking to myself again, and even that doesn't keep my attention.
Hey, you guys, what are you doing?
Learning everything there is to know.
Well, that should take about an hour. Say, where's Connie?
Up here, Ron. Nice to see you, too.
What's the matter with you? You've got the plague?
You'd almost think so. These guys are so caught up in some school thing, and I get left out, as usual.
As usual?
I'm too young.
Well, there's always next year, isn't there?
Oh, sure there is, but it's now I'm worried about.
You and I are special, and we've got our special names. You and I are different, but we feel things much the same. You and I have moments we say life's a lousy game, and moments seem like hours when all you feel is pain. Help us helping each other, help us healing us, Lord. Help us love one another, help us say the right word. Give us strength for each other, give us strength for the load that we carry together along life's road. You and I get bruises and we get our broken bones. You and I get beaten trying to beat our broken homes. You and I have failures and so often we're afraid. Get put down and frustrated, just want to run away. Help us helping each other, help us healing us, Lord. Help us love one another, help us say the right word. Give us strength for each other, give us strength for the load that we carry together along life's road. You and I get bitter when we only want the sweet. You and I are losers when we start to love defeat. You and I are cop-outs when we blame it all on God, whose loving will and purpose is greater than our thoughts. Help us helping each other, help us healing us, Lord. Help us love one another, help us say the right word. Give us strength for each other, give us strength for the load that we carry together along life's road.
Connie, you're special. I think you're special. But what's more important is that God thinks you're special. He made you just the way you are, and you're special to Him.
I wish some other people I knew would feel that way about it.
I think it starts how you see yourself. I remember a couple of months ago, I was way up in the north of Ontario by this very, very beautiful lake. Looked up into the sky. It was crystal clear at night. The stars were out there. You could almost reach out and touch them, except they were millions of light years away. Just stood out there and watched those stars and saw all that huge, huge grandeur. I thought, isn't it incredible that God, the Creator, who made all this stuff, would care about human beings? Like, here I am, a blob sitting on this picnic table, and He cares for me. I went back to the trailer, and that evening I pulled out my scriptures to start reading. And boy, did it ever surprise me when I read a passage. It's in the Psalms somewhere. Psalm chapter 8. Imagine my surprise when I read this. Exactly what I had been thinking. When I look up into the night skies and see the work of your fingers, the moon and the stars you have made, I can't understand how you could bother with mere puny man to pay attention to him. And yet you've made him only a little lower than the angels and placed a crown of glory upon his head. You've put him in charge of everything you've made. Everything is under his authority. All sheep and oxen and wild animals too, the birds and fish and all the life of the sea. Oh, Jehovah, our Lord, the majesty and glory of your name fills the earth. Just think of it, Connie, a little lower than the angels. Did you get that?
Oh boy, it'll be a long time before I get there.
I don't think you have to do it on your own. For one, you kind of throw out the images that you have of yourself and just let God make you into what He wants you to be. He knows what's best.
So you've been watching The Third Story. We think that's just great. Maybe you'd like to know more about the program and the people on it. We have something special for you. It's a magazine that tells something about us and how the programs are made. It has lots of stories and songs from the programs and lots of pictures. If you write to us, we'll send you a copy. Send your letter to The Third Story, Box 2, Station F, Winnipeg, Manitoba. That's The Third Story, Box 2, Station F, Winnipeg, Manitoba. We'll be waiting to hear from you.
You know, I find it really hard to memorize.
Yeah,
I don't know. Have you memorized a lot?
Oh, not really.
In this psalm, we probably should start at the beginning. I guess that's the best. Start in verse 1.
Okay.
I know a place that's made with love, living in every member of the home, where I'm at home. I know a place that's made with prayer, guiding each soul in Jesus' care. At home, where I'm at home. I know a place where we can start learning just how to do our part. At home, where I'm at home. I know a place where work and fun ought to be shared by everyone. At home, where I'm at home. I know a place, a time to test, helping you find what you do best. At home, where I'm at home. I know the place where I